Hello, a very good evening to you. Welcome to ITV News and to Friday night's calendar.
Hello, here are tonight's main stories.
God save the King!
Ready for the celebration of a generation, how the people of Yorkshire are preparing to mark tomorrow's historic coronation of King Charles III.
It's going to be what I almost once in a lifetime experience.
I feel like it's really important.
I expect the Archbishop of Canterbury is feeling more nervous because obviously he's playing the central part. But yes, of course I'm nervous, but it'll be all right on the night.
It's fit for a king. We're at one venue in Halifax which wants a piece of the coronation weekend action. Final preparations are taking place.
In other news, first past the post. We're at the local election count at York Racecourse, but we'll have all the winners and losers from right across the region.
In sport, the greatest escape, Huddersfield hail Neil Warnock as their saviour after, against all odds, he rescues the Terriers from the drop.
Brought a tear to my eye at first there tonight because it's just so emotional. You know, when you're my age and you do something like this.
I've been coming and watching Huddersfield since 1954 and that was the most magical moment I can remember.
And after some beefy showers bubbling up across the region today, I'll have your full forecast for the celebration coronation weekend.
Hello, thanks for joining us. First tonight to our region's preparations for the coronation of King Charles and Queen Camilla. The decorations are up and the tea parties have commenced for a right royal occasion of historic proportions.
Yes, with millions expected to descend on the capital for tomorrow's main event, people up and down the calendar region have been taking festivities into their own hands with everything from public artwork to a giant coronation carriage. Jonathan Brown has been finding out more.
A royal wave, a welcome party, sending a message to the skies above West Yorkshire.
Yours is coming!
A feast of festivities filled the playgrounds and the classrooms here in Halifax as coronation celebrations brought princes and princesses around the table ahead of a historic weekend.
Even though we're not even in London, but it feels like we're actually there, even if we're not.
It's going to be what I almost once in a lifetime experience.
What do you think is going to be the most interesting thing about the whole thing?
Mainly the crown being placed on the head.
I feel like it's really important.
He makes sure we're all safe and he looked after us a lot.
We've had COVID, we've got the cost of living crisis, all manner of things going on, and be able to have a little bit of escapism. You saw the children coming up there, they were squealing with excitement, and if it's the King's coronation that's done that to bring people together and make them feel good, then all power to that.
Elsewhere, statements of support for the soon-to-be King and Queen have been raising eyebrows. Forget the Mall, because in Burn near Selby, Denise and Andy Ware have built a life-size carriage complete with the royal couple, horsemen and crowds.
That's a charity shop, Colt, but an old shirt of Andy's, but everything else has been made. The dummies and everything. People who's been going by has been saying how good it is.
While at Pontefract Town Hall, this spectacular Union Jack's been erected. Look a bit closer and it's been created using recycled bottle tops.
Community groups have been involved, individuals, members of the civic society and also some school children. I'm incredibly proud of the people that have contributed.
And the final touches are being put to the Peace Hall in Halifax, a grand stage for a public screening of tomorrow's ceremony.
God save the King!
Although in Asken near Doncaster, royal fever's already taken hold. This flower shop hosting an early tea party and an impromptu catwalk for some homemade homages.
I left it too late, so I actually went on YouTube and it's a piece of bunting just ironed on with a bit of grease paper and I'm really proud of it.
It's a good feeling of community spirits that we've all entered into and I think it's fabulous.
So as the flags fly and the smiles broaden, across our region, people old and young look set to make the most of a crowning weekend for our new King and Queen, making memories that could last a lifetime. Jonathan Brown, ITV News.
Well, we've just seen the preparations that are underway at Halifax's Peace Hall, and we can cross there live now, where our man Matt Price has been seeing how it's all getting on. How's it going, Matt?
Well, Ian, it's a building which is steeped in history. In fact, when the Peace Hall opened in 1779, King George III was on the throne. So it seems like the perfect location for a celebration this weekend for the coronation. You've come at a good time as well. The benches and the umbrellas have all just been put out. And over here, final preparations are being made to the big screen, which will show the coronation. Let's bring in Nikki, who is the Chief Executive of the Peace Hall. Looking forward to a really exciting weekend.
We are. This is going to be a wonderful celebration of a historic moment in such a tremendous historic building. So tomorrow we're going to be screening the coronation. On Sunday we will have a celebration of the wonderful emergency services. And on Monday the Lord Lieutenant of West Yorkshire will be here to thank volunteers for their service.
Now, you are one of the King's representatives in West Yorkshire. You remember when he came here as Prince in 2018. What was that like?
It was an amazing day. The Prince Charles, as he was then, really engaged with all the people that came to see him. And really, Prince Charles and King Charles, as he is now, just has a tremendous love and affiliation with the Peace Hall, calling it the most marvellous building.
Well, it is a marvellous building, as I say, steeped in history. Thank you so much for having us, and we wish you the very best of luck with everything over the course of the weekend. Now, the teams here will be serving afternoon teas and glasses of champagne, the perfect way to toast the coronation on a historic day in a historic location right in the heart of West Yorkshire.
Well, we'll let you go and have a little tipple in honour of the new king. Thank you very much, Matt, in Halifax.
Thank you. Well, next tonight, to the select band of special guests who've made a difference to their communities and are being rewarded for it with an invitation to Westminster Abbey.
From road safety campaigners in Knaresborough and those fuelling food banks in West Yorkshire to community leaders in Bradford, 2,000 people have been personally invited to witness the ceremony at Westminster Abbey. Victoria Whittam reports.
They've made their names by giving their service to others in their communities, and now they're on the receiving end of an invitation of a lifetime.
It was a total surprise, the email came through and I thought it was a spam email really. I just thought this can't happen.
After years teaming up Bradford's Bangladeshi community with the city's football team, Humayun's no stranger to royal recognition for his work. But going to the coronation, he says, was a goal he'd never even contemplated.
It's something that I can tell my kids, I can tell the community, and for me, I just feel privileged that I'm, in a sense, being there, and hopefully I'm there representing the community as well. We're also celebrating the coronation as the centre at Beep as well. So for us, it's an opportunity to share food, share culture, and celebrate this momentous occasion.
Got another donation for you.
Sharing food's something Pamela's dedicated her working life to. She received a British Empire Medal in 2021 for her efforts supporting food banks in West Yorkshire as a community champion for supermarket chain Morrison's.
It's just a fantastic feeling. I've been fortunate to have the British Empire Medal awarded. I've been fortunate to meet the King personally. And the third thing is to be invited to the coronation. You can't top that really, can you?
She's among the 2,000 people sent these special invites to Westminster Abbey by the King and soon-to-be Queen. Another who'll be joining them is Lauren. She's been spreading the word about road safety after she was hit by a van while on a night out in Harrogate 15 years ago. Her life-saving message also brought her the Royal Seal of Approval, something she says is a bonus she never expected.
It's something that is going to be once in a lifetime. I didn't do any of it for recognition, but just to be awarded things for what I love doing. And it's not like a job. I love doing it.
So as millions around the world tune in to see a moment in history, it's hoped the stories of those attending who've been making a difference in our region show sometimes the impossible is possible. Victoria Whittam, ITV News.
Well, speaking of people heading to London, there are some who just couldn't bear to miss out on the action as it happens and have already set up camp to witness the pomp and the pageantry.
Yes, among the millions hoping to get a front row seat as the procession makes its way past are plenty of people from our region, including Helen Steele, whose task it was to find them. Helen, did you manage to find anyone?
Well, Lara, you'd be pleased to know that, yes, I did. You might ask yourself, why would anyone ever want to leave our region? But if you take a quick look around, you could probably see why. Look over here, we've got a big party atmosphere going on. Plenty of tents out, thank you. Anyone over here from Yorkshire, perhaps? Woo! Oh, fabulous. Give us your best Yorkshire, then.
I buy gum.
Oh, that was wonderful, thank you. And are you Yorkshire?
No, afraid not.
What have you brought here? Seriously. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. I do know that we do have somebody who definitely is from Yorkshire over here, and that is Sam Ems.
Hello.
You've got your mum, your dad, your little boy, and one tent.
Yes.
Why?
It's going to be a very long night, but...
Some people will be sleeping outside.
Will you be?
No.
Oh, okay.
Me and Mummy are
Well,
okay.
They'll be all cosy in there, but we're just here to soak up the atmosphere and just enjoy it and be part of history. That's the main thing, and have you enjoyed it?
Tired? And Shirley, you'll be sleeping, I think, in this. Are you looking forward to that?
My little bed, and I'll be fine.
Mine.
You will be, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a royal walkabout earlier, wasn't there? What was that like?
Well, we didn't get to see the King, but we heard all the cheering and we were just part of the atmosphere. It was brilliant.
Fabulous. And Theodore, tell me about this crown.
Well, we made it for a competition for school, but Stanley won. That's okay because I'm at London. King Charles is a really good king because he loves nature and he's kind and caring, and I love nature too.
Wow. So we've got a great crown. We love King Charles and we love Stanley as well, I have to say, even though he won the competition. And Lucy.
And Harry and Lucy.
Brilliant. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. And are you going to be back here tomorrow?
Yeah.
You are. Okay, brilliant. So can I come back?
Sleeping over.
Okay. Can I come back and talk to you tomorrow?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well,
we're not going to move.
Okay. It looks like he's not going to move, so we'll be back here tomorrow and all will be well.
Oh, I love it. Do say hello to Theodore from us. Thank you very much, Helen, live in London. Well, now, as many people put the final touches to their Coronation Party plans, there are also celebrations for the Labour Party in York tonight.
Yes, after 8 years of no party having overall control of the City Council, that has changed with the results of the local elections.
By and large, Labour had a good night, as expected in our region. Well, Michael Billington is at York Racecourse for us now, and it's a fitting setting, isn't it, for the party's victory there, Michael?
Certainly is, Laura. Not since 2015 has a single political party held overall control of City of York Council, but Labour was first past the post by a few lengths here at the Knavesmire today. They took 24 out of the 47 seats up for grabs, seizing control from the Lib Dem Green coalition administration. So all change here in York, a city where over the years the political landscape has been about as changeable as the weather. Here's Tina Galder.
A wet and grey morning in York, another night of voting done. But the weather was mirrored by lingering apathy from some here.
People are just fed up and they just think, well, who's going to make any difference?
There's not much to distinguish between all of the parties.
But the new ruling Labour Party would beg to differ. The council leader, the first woman to have the top job.
It's been a hard-fought campaign. It's been an awful lot of work over 2 years, but we have shown that the City of York, the people here, want supporters and want a Labour-run council.
And now demands that councillors put their money where their political mouth is.
See you later.
On the shambles, Matt Kaplan runs a cheesecake shop.
I think the priority should be helping the more of the independents.
Preferential parking charges, he says, would be a good start.
I'm paying currently almost $2.5 grand a year to park. You would think that the council would, anybody that owns a business here in town would say, okay, well, you own a business, you're bringing in, you're paying taxes, you should be able to get a break on your parking.
In Sheffield, the bunting surrounding the town hall is just as tangled as the politics here. Once again, there is no overall majority. The council has been run by a three-way coalition between Labour, the Liberal Democrats and the Green Party. At times, the relationship has been more acrimonious than harmonious. The latest scandal damning criticism that the public was misled over the cutting down of thousands of trees. Today, a standing down from Councillor Terry Fox as leader.
There have been some serious issues over the last few years, some mistakes made, and that action now needs to be taken to address those issues and restore the faith of the people of Sheffield. Not least, there's no point me hiding about it, the tree felling.
Elsewhere, and the Independents have held Ashfield, Labour have held on to Bolsover and Bassetlaw, and North Lincolnshire remains under Conservative control. Barnsley stays red, along with Calderdale and Kirklees. And turning red from no overall control is North East Derbyshire, Labour gaining 10 seats. Back in York, and the sun did eventually appear, perhaps pointing to brighter days for Labour. A slim majority, but a significant one in terms of power. Tina Gelder, ITV News.
And of course, some results are still coming in, and you can find all the details on our website.
Well, on to some sport now. Neil Warnock has described keeping Huddersfield Town in the Championship as the greatest achievement of his long career.
Yes, the 74-year-old, who's won a record 8 promotions during his time in football, has guided the Terriers to safety with a game to spare.
Last night's win was made all the more sweet as it came against Warnock's boyhood club, Sheffield United. Chris Dawkes was there for us.
Appreciation for a job well done. Before Neil Warnock arrived in February, the players who gave him a guard of honour last night were staring at relegation. They're now safe, and he is a Huddersfield hero.
It makes me feel really proud tonight, you know. Brought a tear to my eye at first there tonight, because it's just so emotional. You know, when you're my age and you do something like this, it's a tremendous achievement. I've had great promotions and things, but that's as good as I've ever done that. I think the lads, you know, they've all come up and said, thank you, Gaffer, we've never enjoyed it so much.
The first half was far from enjoyable, especially for those watching. The fans knew a draw would keep Huddersfield up, and 15 minutes after the break came the moment that settled the nerves.
Ward on the spin. Danny Wards with an extra special strike.
Danny Ward's goal bringing 20,000 to their feet. All they had to do now was hold out for the last half hour.
Well, they only needed 1 point. They've ended up with 3. Huddersfield Town staying in the Championship.
First football match with my daughter. It was a lovely experience. Good game, and we are staying up.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it.
I've been coming and watching Huddersfield since 1954, and that was the most magical moment I can remember.
Absolutely cracking.
Yeah. Did you think it was possible when Neil Warnock came in?
When he came in, yes. Before that, no. No, the man's a miracle maker.
Oh,
we haven't finished season yet, but we're staying up. Get in there, Town.
Look at what you've done with these players for 14 matches. Imagine what you could do with them for a full season. Do you fancy it next year?
Well, I don't think my heart would take it. I'm 74. I can't be going off like that, I don't think. I mean, the last 3 nights, I've not slept at all. So it's just a relief for me. We didn't think it was possible early on when we went 7 points adrift and got beat 4-0. But it just shows you what is possible. And I think the lads will remember it for the rest of their lives.
So this managerial magician has waved his wand once again. Huddersfield will now begin their search for a new manager. Warnock, well, as he always says, there's always one more challenge in him. Chris Dawkes, ITV News, Huddersfield.
Amazing. Well, Leeds United will hope their own golden oldie can have a similar impact for the rest of their season. Sam Allardyce takes charge of the Whites for the first time tomorrow afternoon, and he couldn't have asked for a tougher start. Champions Manchester City await, and Allardyce says his team will have to pull out the best performance of the season if they're to get a result.
We hope we can find them a space or two to cause them some problems, and if we get a chance, we'd have to score, I think. I don't think we could afford to miss any chances or opportunities we might get in City's box. We'd have to be ruthless, clinical, and defensively, the team will have to be the best it's been this season.
Now, all eyes will be on the King's coronation in London tomorrow for a global event like no other. But did you know that a man who lives in York will be at the very centre of the occasion in Westminster Abbey?
I wonder who he could be. Well, the Archbishop of York will be one of just 3 men who will witness King Charles III's anointment. It's the only private moment in the whole service, the only part the millions watching won't get to see, and arguably the most important.
And to say he's nervous is an understatement. I met up with him in the garden of Lambeth Palace in between his rehearsals at Buckingham Palace. You've been at Buckingham Palace, you will have seen the King. Have you spoken to him?
The thing is, I have, because although, as you'll see, I don't have a large part to play in the ceremony itself, I'm alongside the Archbishop of Canterbury is leading the service, but I'm alongside him for most of the service. So when the King is anointed, I will be alongside the Archbishop of Canterbury helping with that. When the King is enthroned, I'll be, well, actually, at that point, the King's got all his robes on, wearing a crown, orb and sceptre. Actually moving around and sitting yourself down isn't easy, so I'll be there to help and alongside him. And yes, we've chatted a lot through the rehearsals.
Because of course he came to York, he came as King Charles, didn't he? And
twice.
Exactly,
yeah.
Twice in the short period that he's been king. You must have built up a relationship with him.
Well, I wouldn't presume to say that I know him or know him well, but we have got to know each other and started to get to know each other. And one thing I have discovered is his great love of York, Yorkshire, the north. The fact that he's been to York Minster twice and he's only been king for, what, 8 or 9 months, said something. And also he's got a twinkle in his eye. I think he's also been able to see, as has Queen Camilla, able to see, you know, the funny side of all of this, because although it's glorious, the coronation, as we'll all see, you know, there's and this pageantry, we do it so well. I think you also need to be able to smile at it as well.
Has anything happened in rehearsals that you can tell us about that's been funny?
Fortunately, nothing has gone wrong, but there have been occasions when we've started processing this way and somebody said, no, you're supposed to go that way, and we're sort of do-si-doing around each other and walking round thrones one way and then the other.
Is there anything special that you'll be wearing for the coronation service?
Well, we both the Archbishop and Canterbury and I have got new mitres, so that's the hats that Bishop wears. So they've been made for the occasion.
Anything else new?
But actually, no, we've borrowed the robes.
And what about footwear?
I think it's become well known that my wife told me you can't possibly wear those shoes, which did have a hole in them. We did go to the shoe shop a few weeks ago, and I have a brand new pair of DMs, specially for the day.
And have you broken them in?
I have.
Are you nervous?
Yes, of course I am. I expect the Archbishop of Canterbury is feeling more nervous because obviously he's playing the central part. But yes, of course I'm nervous, but it'll be all right on the night.
Such a pleasure to talk to the Archbishop of York, and all the best for tomorrow to him.
Really interested to hear about his holy shoes, quite literally, of course. Well, Kerry's here now, and we've made it to the weekend, the bank holiday weekend again, and the big day tomorrow. Kerry, what do you reckon?
Yeah, well, I hope the Archbishop has got a waterproof as well as his new Doc Martens, because he's going to need it to get there and get back, for sure. It's easy to get nostalgic, isn't it, during historical events like this, and nice to look back. And thanks to Leeds Archives for this shot of near Copperfield Avenue in Leeds. This was the coronation in 1953. You can see by the bunting that it was a little bit breezy. We had a northeasterly breeze back then. And check out the massive crown on the chimney. I just don't know what's going on there, but it's a great shot. And also, this was also our weather chart for 1953, hand-drawn in pencil. It looks a little bit of a mess, but you can see the UK in the centre there with low pressure to the east, which gave us that northeasterly, and high pressure to the west. And those little circles and the amount they're coloured in indicates how cloudy it was that day, and it was very cloudy. And we had to have a bit of a conflab about what the numbers were, but of course it was in Fahrenheit, so it was in the 50s Fahrenheit, so only around 13 Celsius. Now it got to 19.6 Celsius in Sheffield today. Those showers are absolutely kicking off. We've had thunder and lightning across the region, and 2,000 to 4,000 strikes across the UK, and over 400 in our patch alone, so especially lively this afternoon. And some great photographs, so a big thank you to Lee Walker for this one near Pontefract, and also to Gavin Shoesmith for this one in Massam. Definitely wouldn't want to be under that. Get a right old soaking, for sure. This is Papa and Rosie. They're definitely ready for the weekend. Of course, I've got your forecast. And this was the midweek practice for the Red Arrows. It won't look like that tomorrow, but cross fingers.
Cross fingers, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, over the last half an hour, we've seen how people will be marking the King's coronation right across Yorkshire, down on the streets of the capital and even inside Westminster Abbey itself.
But one man from Bradford, weather permitting, will truly get a bird's eye view of the historic proceedings, albeit a very fleeting one.
That's because squadron leader Tom Bold, who went to Woodhouse Grove School before joining the RAF, is now Red 1, the pilot who will lead the Red Arrows fly past over Buckingham Palace.
I caught up with him a little earlier and asked him how he was feeling about the big day.
Yeah, really excited. We're in the final preparation for tomorrow, but everything's looking good and really looking forward to it.
Now, you say everything's looking good, but we know that we've been keeping an eye on the weather forecast, and that's not perhaps looking as good as it should be. So how are you feeling about that?
We'll see. So all the jets are behind me in the hangar. They're all ready to go. One thing we can't control is the British weather. So we're monitoring at the moment. It's looking, well, we'll see. It's not looking too favourable. We're making calls all the time, and then we'll see what it's like in the morning. Fingers crossed it'll be all right, though.
So I know a lot of work's gone into this, the preparation for it, obviously such an important event, but something like the weather, as you say, you can't control. So what would it take for you to have to abandon your plans?
Well, the fly past will be over the palace at 1,000 feet, and we need to fly visually the whole way there and the whole way back, because there's so many aircraft involved in this fly past that we need to be able to see them. So we're flying visual flight rules, and they're all laid down. So as long as the cloud base is above 1,000 feet and we can see far enough ahead so there aren't some massive showers, then hopefully we'll be all right for the fly past. OK, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you, certainly. Now, we know, of course, that you perform at so many big events. We remember the Jubilee, of course, that was very, very big. But what about the coronation? That's a huge, it doesn't get bigger than that, does it really? Oh, no, it doesn't, and it's going to be extra special for me. This is my final year as Red 1, and this will be probably my 6th time over the monarch and over the palace. And to do it for the coronation and do it for the King this time will be extra special. We're very fortunate in this team that wherever we go, we can fly that Union flag, we can put the red, white and the blue smoke out, and be able to do it tomorrow over the Mall and over the palace will be brilliant.
And I suppose looking back, you think of all the people who've held the position that you hold and have never had a chance to do anything like this.
I know this will be the first time the Red Arrows will have been over the coronation, and you're right, it doesn't get bigger than this. But everyone is prepped, we're all ready, and we're just looking forward to it now.
Well, we wish you all the very best, and we look forward, fingers crossed, to seeing you tomorrow.
Great, thank you very much.
Fingers crossed.
Fascinating. We'll have to look out for him tomorrow, won't we?
Definitely, yeah. Now then, I wonder what that weather will be like. Of course, the Red Arrows are keeping a very close eye on Kerry's forecast. So are we, so let's get the very latest now and join her.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Celebration Coronation weekend is almost upon us. Today it was a wet start, then we saw some sunshine developing. Turned out quite nice and warm with that heat, allowing those clouds to rise quite high and give us some heavy and thundery showers. Stays dry or becomes dry overnight tonight to start tomorrow, but there will be a spell of rain later. Always the risk of a shower, especially as we head through into Sunday. Maybe a little bit more sunshine the further west you are, and then heavy rain threatening during the course of holiday Monday from the southwest. So it's this little feature here that's coming towards London tomorrow morning. A little bit of a debate about how far north it pushes, but we are expecting it to push through by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Little ridge of high pressure giving us those best of the brightness in the west story on Sunday, and then on Monday the winds freshen, cloudy skies and outbreaks of rain. So still the risk of some heavy and thundery showers over the next hour or so, but becoming mostly dry with variable cloud and clear spells, mild with light winds and maybe a bit of mist and murk as well. Again, overnight tonight as we head towards tomorrow morning. So it could be a cloudy and a damp start first thing, but we are expecting that to lift and some sunshine to develop, but in turn again the risk of some showers. So sunshine and showers for the morning, cloudier skies for the afternoon, and then the risk of the rain later on in the afternoon towards the evening. So it could become quite unsettled as that feature pushes its way northwards. Still a bit of a debate about the positioning of that tomorrow into the evening and overnight period. But as we head towards Sunday, likely to linger first thing, then a mix of sunshine and heavy, thundery showers potentially. Maybe a dry start on Monday, but rain from the southwest for later on, but never cold.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
There you go. Whatever the weather, I'm in the mood, I think, now. We're dressed for the occasion,
We're
aren't
certainly
we?
dressed for the occasion, yeah. Fancy
Red,
a tea party?
White and blue, aren't we? Yeah, I fancy a tea party. Why not? Whatever you're doing, have a fantastic bank holiday weekend. Enjoy the coronation.
Thanks for watching us, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye
Have
for
a
now.
lovely weekend.